It lessens me none.
Exactly.
Like, why wouldn't I? If anything, making those connections just widens your network and makes your universe more, more magical, for lack of a better, right? If you impart nothing else from this episode, like if you know something that can help somebody else, you actually can't hold it. You have to share it.
Yeah.
That's just like how these things work. Like you have to share it. But there's also a way to go about it. Like, I'm not saying sit down with somebody for 2 hours and let them suck all the energy out of you. No, I'm not saying that. Like, figure out a process. But if it's a simple, like, do an email intro, why wouldn't you do that? And understanding when you're attempting to block someone else, you're blocking yourself. Like,
facts. I believe in karma. I think sometimes people gatekeep because there's a fear if they give this information, this person is going to zoom by them. But if this person's going to zoom by you as a competitor, it's going to happen whether you give them the information or not. Like, whatever's meant to be will be. It's in God's hands. So I agree. There's a way to do it in a smart way so people are not sucking all of this energy out of you and you're not getting anything in return. But if we continue this kind of like crabs in a barrel mentality, it's going to perpetuate a cycle of inequities for Black entrepreneurs who are continuously starting from start one, trying to figure out all the information, but someone else who looks like you just went through this. But because they don't want to, they're scared to let that go. Here you are running in circles, and then it continues and continues.
Hey, welcome to Shades of Content, a show that teaches entrepreneurs how to effectively use content to market their business and stay content while doing it. I'm your host, Patrice, a wife, a mom of 3, and a 15-year public relations and marketing professional who decided to open a brick and mortar content studio 4 years ago. And I honestly haven't looked back since. Join me as I share my experiences and the experiences of other entrepreneurs who, like me, are navigating this maze of owning a business, running a family, and trying to stay sane and healthy while doing it. I'll tell you, it's an amazingly challenging journey, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. See you soon. Hey there. Are you a content mompreneur, or better yet, are you a content mompreneur? What does that mean? That means you're a mom who owns a business and is on a journey to seek contentment in your professional and personal life. If that fits you, because that is definitely me, then you need to get your content mompreneur checklist. Tap the link in the show notes to see exactly where you are in your journey of contentment. It's something that I am just really starting to hone in on and focus on, because the bottom line is we have to be able to find that level of peaceful satisfaction, peaceful happiness through all of our life changes. And I'm on a journey to find that for myself, and I actually want to help you find it too. So tap the link in the show notes to take your content mompreneur checklist, and then shoot me an email or a DM to let me know where you stand and all of that. Here's the rest of the episode. Hello. Welcome back to Shades of Content. It's Friday. That means we are back with another full episode. I'm your host, Patrice. I am all the things that I talk about on the show, right? I'm a mompreneur. I'm a wife. I'm a creator. I'm a sister, a daughter, all the things. In this show, teaches Black millennial mompreneurs content hacks and contentment tips, because life can be hectic, and so we really have to find those places of peaceful happiness, but also learn the best tricks and trades to market our business, because typically we probably are doing it ourselves, and right, like we don't have this whole marketing machine behind us. So like, how do we do it strategically? How do we do it so that we're working smarter and not harder? All the things. So I'm so happy that you're back. If you have not already rated or reviewed this show, please do that. I say it every show, right? Like, that is how I know what you want to hear, if you're actually engaging with the content, all that stuff. So take a second to rate and review. As I'm running my mouth, I realized I haven't done a pretentious piece segment in a very long time. So if you're new here, at the beginning of the year, I started doing these segments where I take something that's happening in pop culture and put like this content marketing view on it. But I didn't prepare and I didn't figure out one to talk about today. So maybe next week we'll get back. I also asked y'all to send me some names and send me some stuff, and you didn't do that. So there's that. But anywho, We're back another Friday, and I have a beautiful guest with me.
Yes.
Hello, this is Lizz Rene.
Hey.
And CEO? What do you?
Yeah,
what's your
CEO
title?
and founder, creator.
Love it. Okay, so Liz is the CEO, founder, creator of Po-Up Cards. We have a box. We have a couple boxes here. Bam. But the way that I connected with you was very interesting, I guess. Well, maybe not. I was sitting on my couch. It was late. I think everybody in the house was asleep, and typically I'm asleep at like 9:00. But I was up late. I feel like I was on YouTube, right? Number 2 search engine ever. And I think I was like searching like Black business content, and BET's Bet on Black.
Yep, Revolt TV.
Revolt TV's Bet on Black came on, and I was intrigued. I'm like, oh, okay, we got some entrepreneurship content. You know, I'm seeing Master P. Like, I'm seeing like some, people I respect on multiple levels. And I'm watching the show, and these Black business owners are essentially pitching their business to this panel of very successful business. Was Pinky Cole?
Yes. Yep. Soror,
also, come on. Liz is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Hey, soror. So I'm intrigued, right? I'm watching, and I see you come on the screen, and you very beautifully present your business. And I was like, oh, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? And then I did some digging, because I'm a PR girl. I'm a communicator. And I find out that you're literally down the street. Like, you live in a city where my middle school was.
Wow.
And so I emailed you, if maybe not that night, but very soon after, like, hey, I saw you on the show, and I think you're great, and do you want to be on my show? And you were like, yeah. And it was just very easily happened. We were supposed to film a couple weeks ago, and that didn't happen, but we're here right now. And I'm a service provider girl. Right. So most of my entrepreneurial endeavors are based on a service that I can provide with my mind or whatever, my skills, or a virtual assistant that I can have do it. But there's something about product-based entrepreneurs that just intrigues me when it comes to the packaging and the process. Many moons ago, I created a calendar called Black Girl Holidays. And that was this product. And as much as I loved it and I believed in it, it lasted 2 years. And I said, I'm not in the business of printing books. That's just ain't for me. Mm-hmm. So when I see people who are able to take these concepts and that just is so cool to me. So Liz, welcome to Shades of Content.
Thank you.
The rants be long.
No, I love that. I love hearing, how people come across.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So please, I do want to talk about the card game, right? But I'm curious, like, how does that happen? Like, you're not from the DMV area.
Nope.
Okay.
I moved here from Georgia.
So you're a Southern girl.
I'm not a Southern girl. I was born in Connecticut,
Gotcha.
Moved to Georgia for high school, stayed for college, went to UGA, and then came to the DMV after an internship. Been here ever since for the last almost 9 years.
9 years. What industry are you in? Like, how do we get here? What's the journey?
So it's funny you said, PR girly. I studied public relations. And so when I got my first job out of college, it was in PR. It wasn't giving me what I thought it would. And I found myself leaning into the DEI space. So the DEI committee work at my firm.
Got it. That's diversity, equity,
and inclusion.
Okay.
Not getting any promotions or recognition for that work outside of like a pat on the back and thank you. And so I transitioned into full-time DEI work at DC Public Schools after leaving the PR firm, was at DCPS for like 4.5 years. And then I went to Google to do DEI work. And unfortunately, recently was laid off.
Gotcha.
So now I'm in a space where my last day will be March 31st, ironically my birthday. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be able to pivot full time into Po-Up Card Game, or if I want to pursue DEI consulting, or just find another 9 to 5. So that's where I'm at now.
Okay, y'all, I didn't know any of this. Let's get to unpacking.
Bring it all out. Bring it all out.
So, okay, for like this, DCPS.
Yes.
Right. That's District of Columbia Public Schools. There's some DCPS alum in this room right now.
Wow.
Right. Like, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
But that's a nonprofit, right? Essentially. So then to go to Google.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. And you were doing DEI work for Google. Mm-hmm. What did that look like?
So very different from DC Public Schools. DC Public Schools is, kind of a utopia, mostly students of color. So the work looked different because you're talking about racial equity with an audience that gets it. Like, yes, I am experiencing this. You do not have to convince me this is an issue, but what are we about to do about it is the question. Transitioning to a place like Google, the DEI work was mostly hiring and representation because they didn't have the representation that a DC public schools already had with students and teachers. And then it felt like that was kind of where they were in their journey. How do we increase representation? So what does DEI look like as far as hiring, equity strategy, and programs? So by the time March comes around, it would have been like my 1 year anniversary pretty much. But due to the layoffs, here I am now. But Pull-Up Card Game is my baby. Like in an ideal world, I want to be able to make that pivot into full-time entrepreneurship, but I also got to be realistic about, what will it take financially to make that happen.
Tell me about Pull-Up, right? Because my eyes were sparked again because it's this product, but also it has a very specific audience in mind, right? And I'm technically not a part of said audience. So describe what Pull-Up is.
Yes. So Pull-Up Card Game is a party game all about bringing together Black alumni of HBCUs and PWIs.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time when I say that, people only hear HBCU. And I love it. We're in the DC area. Shout out to Howard, But so one more time, it's a party game bringing together Black alumni of HBCUs and PWIs to pull up to our excellence.
There we go.
Because in a lot of spaces, when I was in college about 10 years ago, we used to have this old and tired debate of HBCU versus PWI. Which should you go to? Why did you choose the one you chose? This card game scratches all of that out. And it brings us together over our shared experiences. And the fact that no matter where you attended college, you're breaking generational curses, and Black alumni are graduating at unprecedented rates. And so I thought it would be boring to have a trivia game about Black college facts, but the nostalgia piece and like the sense of pride that we have no matter where we went was so clear. So I wanted to translate that through a card game. See? And so that's how we came to be.
I love that. And that's why ask conversation is so important, right? Because I'm the PWI, but so are you. You went to UGA, right? I went to University of Maryland, which is right up the street. And I'll tell you, and this is honest to God, there were weird, I never forget, this was sophomore year, I had a single, and you couldn't tell me nothing. I had a friend, Justin. I haven't talked to Justin in so long, but Justin, where are you? He was a year younger than me, and he lived on our floor, and he would come, we would just hang out. I love Justin. He was like a little brother to me. He would just come, and I'll never forget one day he went to, I think we went to Howard's homecoming together, and we were there, just kind of there, and he turned around, he was like, see, that's why I wish I went to a Black school. And I was very offended. And I was like, don't be doing that. Nothing is wrong. They come to our school to go to our library. I got really offended. And there was probably some internal strife there because maybe I wanted that experience because I was at Maryland, feeling unseen, unheard. And while we did have our community and my friends from freshman year, the people I met, no lie, the first girl I met freshman year, Terry, we literally were talking just yesterday. We couldn't come to each other's kids' parties because they were on the same day. We were in each other's weddings, right? So us going to Maryland and having that very unique Black girl, short Black girl, sassy front, that is nothing like it. And I used to always say, for some reason, Maryland's homecoming and Howard's homecoming are always on the same day. I don't know why. And I would always just come to Maryland's homecoming. But this year I said, I'm going to go to Howard's homecoming this year because it's an experience. And it actually doesn't matter where you go to school. It's this collective experience. I can't think of another word. So when I first saw you on the show, I was like, oh, I guess that's card game's not for me. But digging deeper and having this conversation is great. It is, right? Because it's about what we're dealing with and learning. And the friends that I met at Maryland, the Black friends, right? Because we very purposely had a very tight community. Because when I think back, we didn't realize it then. We had to have that community.
Facts.
Right? Because college is interesting.
That's exactly what inspired me to create the game. Like, I'm a first generation college student. Or college graduate. I only applied to 4 colleges. UGA was one of them. I knew they were like the flagship institution of the state. I didn't even know about their football team. I just was like, okay, that's the big school in Georgia. And when I went there, I was like, oh, I'm at the University of Georgia. There are not a lot of other Black students there, but the Black student community, like, I literally just got off of a call with like 4 of my fellow Black UGA alumni. It was just something about going through those experiences that brought us together. Absolutely. And we really had each other's back and was able to make it all the way through college. And then when I moved to DC, the Black alumni of UGA had my back, like, hey, here's how you navigate DC, here's where to go, etc. So, everything happens for a reason, exactly the way it's supposed to. And that's kind of what inspired me to want to make a game like this.
Okay, so what does making a game like this entail?
Yes.
And this is a thick, this ain't like no little
104 cards.
Right, like this is a thick card game. So I do want to know, like, literally the entire process. How do we get this beautiful product?
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing, I was an RA in college.
Me too.
So when it comes to, trying to get college students to come out to a program, so I already got the adult engagement piece down of making up activities and icebreakers. So coming up with the questions was very easy, actually. Vetting them was then the next space, because I could think something's a good thing, but if Black folk don't think it's good, they're going to let you know, and I don't want to look a fool out here in these streets. So I went ahead and did focus groups with people I knew from PWIs and HBCUs to make sure I wasn't over-indexing on my PWI experience or over-indexing on the HBCU experience, to make sure everyone felt like they could play the game together. Right. And then it was kind of like organizing these 100 prompts and questions into different categories, and then those lent themselves into different styles of questions. So sometimes you have around the room, whoever gets it wrong has to po up, or sometimes it's like, this is a water break, this is literally just the nostalgia of the experience, etc. And po up means take a sip. We're not sitting here taking shots all day. I don't need any lawsuits.
A sip. And it can be a sip of apple juice.
It could be a sip of anything, apple juice. Easy as that. Or just the conversation piece of it. So once coming up with all the questions and prompts, that was kind of easy, organizing it to make sure it was a game. Then it comes to the design. So I was able to work with a fellow UGA alum on the design, like the graphic design of the cards in the box itself. Worked with a UGA alum on the trademarking of the name, so no one could take po-up for card games, etc. And then, trying to find a manufacturer was the hard part. I thought I could just go on Vistaprint.
Because you probably got all them marketing emails and things they send you in the mail. So it's like, let me use them, but no.
You can just facts. You cannot use Vistaprint to make a card game, because all of the cards are different. They're not the same. So a lot of research trying to find manufacturers. Ended up my first time going with a domestic manufacturer, which was great because they were very accessible and answered all my questions. But the money was very high, very, very high. But then as I kind of put the product out into the world, I connected with other Black game makers who didn't believe in gatekeeping. So I would ask them, like, who are you using? And they're like, girl, you're going to have to go over here to China. Here's the person I use. It's going to be way less. And just, great quality work, etc. So yeah, I know that's like a very sped up version of like how I got to the product, but happy to answer any
I feel like questions. I'd like to, I know people's like stories, right? So when I saw Po Up, I thought about another one of our sorority sisters, Unique Jones Gibson.
Yes,
right?
Culture
tags, right? Fun fact, her space is right around the corner.
Wow.
Yeah, and Unique, we've known each other for many, many years. So I know when Unique was creating culture tags, she was getting these like universal downloads of just stuff, and things just kind of like snowballed like not sure she really had like this end goal, but she just was like, you know what, let's try it. Okay, it worked. Boom, blah, 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 blah. Was that similar to your process, or did you already know, okay, I have these, I'm going to do this, let's execute?
Oh no,
okay.
Not at all. Not at all. So I kind of like initially figured out that this could be a card game when I was with some friends at a holiday party, fellow UGA alumni. We get together every year because that's the only time of year that we can like kind of see each other is the holidays. And so year after year, we would play like Taboo and Spades and the same games. And it's cool, but it gets old. The same games every single year, arguing over the rules and all of those things. So one year I was like, let me just write up some note cards. We're all here because we went to UGA together. And let me just do a little icebreaker, just something. And so what was supposed to be like a 15-minute icebreaker ended up being hours of us reminiscing about our college days, like very specific to UGA and what we experience as Black students at UGA. And so I was like, okay, cool, that was fun. But my best friend, Asia, she's a Virgo, I'm an Aries. She was like, Liz, you should make this a card game. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of work. Thank you for that idea. And then she followed up with me like a few weeks or months later. And she's like, no, Liz, like I really think that you should make this a card game, and I'm here to support you in turning that idea into like implementation. Like, let's brainstorm, let's get together. So not only did I have a support system of someone who believed in me and my idea, but also followed up with me and was willing to hold me accountable by like being at whatever support she could. So that was really the push from what I thought was just an icebreaker on some note cards, leave it at that. That's what it was gonna be if she wasn't there. But because of her, I was able to be like, okay, this could be a thing. And now I'm all in. Now I'm like, what can I do?
Ain't
let's do pitch competitions.
Now.
Let's make this thing happen. Let's get to Target. Let's do what we need to do.
Wow. I think like community is like just in that this makes me think of community, right? But you also spoke about the gatekeeping part again. Like, so when you're creating these tangible products, there's just best practices and there's the best vendors to work with that when you're new to certain spaces, you literally don't know. And I've heard a lot of stories of entrepreneurs who were trying to figure out the best way, the best co-packer, the best printer, the best shipper, and you don't know if you don't know. And, you know, that's a serious call to action, because I know for me, anytime I can share or connect people, I'm gonna do it. It lessens me none.
Exactly.
Like, why wouldn't I? If anything, making those connections just widens your network and makes your universe more, you know, more magical, for lack of a better, right? So I hope that if you impart nothing else from this episode, like if you know something that can help somebody else, you actually can't hold it. You have to share it. Yeah. That's just like how these things work. Like you have to share it. But there's also a way to go about it. Like, I'm not saying sit down with somebody for 2 hours and let them suck all the energy out of you. No, I'm not saying that. Like, figure out a process. But if it's a simple, like, do an email intro, why wouldn't you do that? And understanding when you're attempting to block someone else, you're blocking yourself. Like,
facts. I believe in karma. I think sometimes people gatekeep because there's a fear if they give this information, this person is going to zoom by them. But if this person's going to zoom by you as a competitor, it's going to happen whether you give them the information or not. Like, whatever's meant to be will be. It's in God's hands. So I agree. There's a way to do it in a smart way so people are not sucking all of this energy out of you and you're not getting anything in return. But if we continue this kind of like crabs in a barrel mentality, it's going to perpetuate a cycle of inequities for Black entrepreneurs who are continuously starting from start one, trying to figure out all the information, but someone else who looks like you just went through this. But because they don't want to, they're scared to let that go. Here you are running in circles, and then it continues and continues. So we have a Black game creators network where we're starting to put together resources like a manufacturer's list, leaving our comments, etc., working together. I've gone live with fellow Black game makers, maybe about like 20 of them on Instagram as an opportunity to learn about their journey, reach an audience that clearly is interested in Black games, and just like, let's grow together. Like, I don't know anyone who owns one game at their house. Exactly. So there's enough room for us. Like, it's not a competition. It's, I want to get that game and I want to get that game.
I'm only playing Taboo. I'm only playing Pull-Up. We play all the games. Never. You play one game, you're like, okay, what are we playing next?
Facts.
And I think also like building community is the quickest way to grow, right? So one thing that I've been really, pondering on, and I don't know when this is going to release, is like, I opened this studio 5 years ago. So it was pre-pandemic. So it was pre-content studio branding.
Wow.
And so while me owning and operating the space is going to look different, I want to build community of people that own studios, because so many more exist. And I don't have to own this space in this way anymore. But why? Like, it would be great to just have all these people that own studios together.
I love
that.
Like,
right? Like, it's just like build community. Okay, so we have Pull-Up. Yes. It exists.
Yes.
And give me time frames.
Okay. So that holiday party I described was in December of 2019.
Okay.
So then the bulk of 2022 was, or not the first half of 2022, I didn't think I was going to make it a game. Friend circles back, like, nah, let's do this. So summer of 2022 is like really
2022 or 2020?
Sorry, 2020.
Got okay.
2020. Pandemic is coming up with the idea, focus groups, preparing to launch, working with the manufacturer.
Question.
Yes.
Did the pandemic allow you time to like really think about it?
Facts. Okay. It was an entire catalyst, not only with the matter of time, but also the space that we were in for folks who were going through a racial awakening. It was like, I was doubling down on my Blackness, and just one of the mottos that really resonated with me during that time was Black joy is a form of resistance.
Yes.
And so, a lot of our white co-conspirators and allies were asking for resources so they could figure out what to do to be better allies. But like, what about Black people and what we need?
Yeah.
And for me, it was kind of like leaning into my joy as a form of resistance, so I won't have to be so down and out all the time based on the reality that we're in. So all of that with the time and just what we were going through in that time, I think was the perfect storm to kind of, for me to lean in this creative way. No pressure for everybody, because I know that was the rhetoric. If you're not spending this time making your business, then what are you doing? I do not believe in that. People do what's best for them, So I think that really made the way to finally launch in November 2020. I did not have the physical product yet. So I was doing a pre-order launch.
That's smart.
And I leveraged my line sisters and my friends from UGA to kind of make waves around it. So I gave them a heads up, like, hey, on this day, I'm going to launch my product. It's not a physical product. Can you all like post about it when I post about it? And we had a little Instagram story filter where you could play the game on your head. That's why I'm doing that. And you just tapped it, it shuffled, and it would show a card. So once we launched, my line sisters and my friends, maybe about like 50 people were on social media doing this. And then like after 24 hours, we had like 200 followers on our Instagram page, which was big to me, And so we finally had a physical product. It came in on Founders Day 2021. And I was able to ship out those initial 100 or so orders to folks. And we just been up and running since.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys quickly about business credit, about how I've been able to use business credit for my business. So I've spent like the last year and a half trying to get my credit up. Like getting in the 700s was really something that was important to me. And I personally was not applying to anything. But I spent a lot of time, again, like 2.5 years trying to like raise my credit score, and I was very proud of that. Doing that, I was afraid to also apply for business credit. So one day, I think I might have been talking to my accountant, and he was like, just apply for the business credit card, Patrice. It's not going to hurt you. So I did it, and I was able to get 2 business credit cards, a Capital One Visa and an American Express Platinum. And I didn't realize why people were talking about business credit. I didn't realize why people were doing it. I kind of just thought it was y'all just trying to get this money. But actually, these things have been very helpful with me running my business. So the way I do it is I use my Capital One card to pay for all of the business's monthly expenses, the things that I know I got to pay for. Put it all on the card. At the end of the billing period, I just pay it off. Right? So if you guys have been on the fence about whether or not you want to apply for a business credit card, you do have to have good personal credit. I think sometimes people think they can apply for these business credit cards and it does not factor in your personal credit. It does. They're going to ask for your EIN number, but they're also going to ask for your personal information, which includes your social. So you definitely want to have your ducks in a row and make sure you got your personal stuff together for a higher chance of getting approved. Also, I am not a financial advisor. I'm none of those things. I'm just telling you my personal experience. But if you're on the fence, I would suggest doing it so that it can free up some of your funds, your actual liquid cash, and you can have some more flexibility, right, to do what you need to do. I also feel like, and I know interest rates, again, I'm not the professional. I don't know any of that stuff. Of course, the credit card interest rate is going to be a lot higher than a loan, but loans are really hard to get. And again, if you have a system and a strategy for paying off the debt, you'll be fine. If you're interested in applying to a Capital One card, there are links in the show notes. I don't got nothing to do if you get approved or not. Don't come at me, man. This shit don't work out. Not my problem. I'm just giving you the resources. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I shared that with you all. Again, links to the Capital One business card are in the show notes. Okay, up and running since, and then I'm watching you on Revolt. Like, that's a very big platform.
Yes.
How did you get there? Like, are you doing your own? Well, you're a PR girl.
I'm a PR girl.
Yeah. So what did that high visibility opportunity, how did it come to be? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the first part.
So how it came to be, I actually have to back up a little bit to March of 2022 when I participated in the Target Accelerators program for entrepreneurs who are starting out in their business, entrepreneurs of color, underrepresented folks. And so that was huge for me because it was telling me that a company like Target is interested in what I have to say. Even if it's not perfect, they see that there's a possibility of me getting into their stores. So through that opportunity, I eventually found out about Bet on Black.
Okay.
But I applied for that twice. So the first time I applied to Bet on Black, I did not get it for season 1. But everything happens for a reason, because if you watch both seasons, they're slightly different. Okay. Season 1, there was a chance that you go on the show and leave with no money if you didn't make that first round.
Okay.
So the second season, everybody left with something. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
The second time around, Target sent us the application and said, Bet on Black is looking for folks. So now I'm applying with Target, on my resume, if you will, and submitting my video with just a few tweaks. So like in the beginning, we used to be a drinking game. We're an unapologetic drinking game. Target was like, well, we're trying to be a little family friendly. And I'm like, people in my family drink. What you talking about? But okay, party game. Cool. I'll call it a party game. Yep. You drink if you want to. So with those slight changes, I was able to make it to Bet on Black alongside 11 amazing Black-owned businesses. Yeah. Quite a few of those businesses I went through the Target Accelerators program with too. So it was a nice full circle moment.
I love that. I love that. Like, and I don't, I don't know the behind the scenes of this Target Accelerator program, but for them to be providing just, hey, you should do this, or that. The tweaks, the insight, again, I think it's still going back to the non-gatekeeping. Like, we share, because once this is in Target, Target wins too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So cool. So what did that feel like? Like being in front of these big names, still human. These are only, one thing I'm really leaning into is we are all the same. And when I look at celebrities who have to perform in front of all these people and have to be accepted by all these people, I now don't look at them as these celebrities. I look at them as people, and I empathize that they have to do this. They can't just like create. They have to show up as these figures, and it's wild, if I'm being honest. However, you were in front of this panel of people who have accolades, visibility, all the things. Were you nervous? What did that feel like? Yes, I was nervous because we didn't know who the celebrity judges were going to be until we pulled up to the studio. And I was like, oh, that's Master P. Oh, that's Pinky Cole. Oh, that's Remy Ma. Oh, I think that's a vice president at Target. So
And I was in the first round. Like they did a roulette to figure out who was going to go at random. And I was in the first round. I was like, dang, so I don't even get to see what it's going to be like. But I remember walking on stage, and thankfully in my episode, Master P didn't have sunglasses on. So I was able to look him in the eyes, and it felt disarming. Like you were saying, like we're all people. No one is higher or more than anyone else. And so that was a little disarming. And then Pinky being a soror who reps Clark Atlanta heavy, I was like, thank you, target audience.
Come on here.
So I was like, my leg was shaking a little bit, I realized, but fortunately I was able to project and convey my story in the way that I felt like I wanted to and needed to in that moment. So when I left, I actually was just very energized. Like I did that in front of these celebrity judges. I did it. Going back, I'm like, okay, there are things I could have done differently, but still I was just very proud of myself in that moment.
It was beautiful to watch. It was definitely like 1:00 in the morning, and I was tapped in. And I remember the nail duo.
Yes.
The one, I remember them. Like it was very captivating entrepreneurs that when you watch it, for me at least, it was insanely inspiring. Like, yo, this is so dope. And I would imagine that you all's work and you all's story probably inspired the panel too. You know what I'm saying? So then what does the aftermath of that look like? Like, again, very high visibility opportunity. Did it yield the results you thought? Were you able to capitalize on it? Like, I'm very curious because we never know what happens after. You know, what did it look like? What was your world after that?
Yeah. So like, I think the aftermath of the show was amazing as far as like the community that I have with those founders. We all have our group text. Kalila from Mess in a Bottle, she's based in Baltimore. She invited me out to her watch party to be on a panel. She's like got hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff like that. So just really just the proximity you have to people who are doing things at different levels of their career journey was amazing. Now, I was like, okay, am I going to have like a packing party of orders for the influx of orders? That didn't happen, but that didn't get me down because it's like, look, it's going to take multiple touch points for folks to be introduced to the product. And what's funny is now on TikTok, as I post videos, just, you know, trying to get my vision and mission of celebrating Black excellence out there, people will post like, hey, were you on Bet on Black? Like, oh, I think I saw you on Bet on Black. And so I think that what I'm learning is things are not always about the short-term ROI of is on TV, viral moment, thousands of orders. It's more so the long-term and things that God is probably working on in the background that I can't see yet. And just making sure I'm ready for the things that I think I want. You think you want those viral moments of, you know, a whole bunch of orders, but are you prepared to replenish? Are you in the place that you need to be? But I think overall it was such a dope experience. And I know it's going to be like a domino effect in the months to come of just opportunities that continue to come my way because I was on Bet on Black.
Do you do your own marketing?
Yes.
Okay. That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Oh, goodness. Yes.
That's a lot. I want to talk a little bit about this new, you know, March 31st. This episode will come out before then. Right. So now we talk marketing, we talk content, but now I do want to talk a little about contentment. And a past episode recently, we talked about alignment. Like I spent probably overtime talking about feeling what feels right and possibly cutting back and taking time to think about, do I want to go back down this path? So like like one part of your life like is promising and there's like, and then there's this other part that somebody could look at and be like, oh Lord, what you gonna do? Kind of like, what are you feeling in this moment? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm definitely, to be honest, I'm scared and anxious. And I think a part of it is probably like a sense of pride. Like I know that people probably assume like, yeah, girl, you've been doing stuff with Target and you were on Bet on Black. So pivoting to your business is a no-brainer, right? And it's like, for me, there are so many things that I want to be in place before I make that pivot. Right. But I know that making that pivot into my business would just be so rewarding. Like that would be not only the high risk, but high reward.
Absolutely.
Getting another 9-to-5 job would be, it still might be hard given the climate, but it's something I've done before, I'm familiar with, so it's not as scary.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I heard someone use this term the other day, experiencing career fatigue, where I just need a break to rest and be still to make space for what's next. And I think, the person I am, God was like, she's not about to leave this job. Let me throw something in her way real quick.
Push her on out of here.
So
Bye, girl.
That's where I am
Yeah.
as I prepare for March 31st. And so my plan right now is to take a break, to be still. I think I heard earlier some conversations about being still for 5 minutes and thinking about the messages that are coming to you. I want to do that for the next few weeks. So I'm using this downtime until March 31st, my birthday, to apply to jobs for potentially getting another 9-to-5, but then also applying to grants so I could potentially have the financial security I feel like I need to pursue my business full time. But I don't believe in coincidences. So I know that March 31st date is likely intentional.
Yeah, I would agree there. And I'm always, I went back to work in a full-time 9-to-5 role in August of last year. And it wasn't something it was, I'm not going to say it wasn't something I planned for, because at the beginning of January 2022, I wrote it down, I want full-time income. I didn't know how it was going to happen. It didn't happen through my entrepreneurial ventures. It happened through this career opportunity that there was a little angst, right? Because the narrative is when you go back into the workforce, you've given up or you're selling out or you couldn't cut it. But I don't see it like that. I'm like, I've heard this recently. No, God gave me some more money to invest in my dreams. What you mean? God is now showing me that the value of having a team. That's one of the things I love about my full-time. That full-time job is weird to me also. My husband is a federal employee, so their time is very 8 hours, and I'm not. My work isn't like that, and I'm okay with that, because sometimes I'll get a burst of energy at 3 a.m, or I might work on a Sunday, and that's okay, because on a Monday I'm chilling. Like that's just my life, right? But like in my entrepreneurial lens, being that service provider, I worked very individually. And I realized that was something that was taking a toll on me. So to then go into this new opportunity where I have a team, and sometimes the meetings are a bit much, but at the end of the day, like I can actually work with people and brainstorm with people, and we can create projects together. That feels so good, because for 4.5 years, I didn't have that. And I didn't figure out how to maneuver it, or it might have cost too much from an operation standpoint to build the team for my own business. But God provided this career with this team, and that's so cool. So I think sometimes like shifts happen, and sometimes you might have to pivot. Like,
exactly.
It's okay. And I also love like that you got a couple options. I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that. Because I also believe you have to make those steps. It's like you got to make some steps. It ain't just going to come to you. You can't just sit and expect. That's not how it works.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll be very clear. God has been great. 2022 was a heck of a year. I got the job with Google. I got on Bet on Black. I participated in Target Accelerators. The year before that, I won a car through a Mael Organics giveaway. I won a whole Mercedes-Benz paid for.
She's dope, by the way.
What
is her? Monique, thank you. I always forget her name, but I just thought,
woman. She was amazing when I met her in person.
I
so God is like, look, girl, you've been winning. Don't turn on me now.
Don't turn on me now.
I got you. Just wait on it.
Just wait on it. It might look a little different.
Yeah,
we don't know what the picture.
I win the lottery next.
Here we go. You hear first. I love it. Okay, so I have some cards here.
When you pulled it out.
All we have is water. Now, the last content day I had a bottle of Vouv sitting back there.
We got water.
But we got water. Water is great. Okay. Pull up if you were high or intoxicated at graduation.
My graduation was in the morning, so I don't think I drank, but I was late, and I graduated late in December, not in May. So, you know, I was just like, let's just make it to the, let's just make it.
Your girl pulled up. And because this was not my undergrad, my grad school graduation, I went out the night before. I was fucked up at my grad school graduation. And for me, like when I'm drunk and hungover, I'm like really nice. And then I get emotional. So once I saw my son, who at the time was like 2, also I was high. Like not high. I was drunk. You know, you can smell the alcohol coming out your pores. I was like crying when I saw my son because I was like, oh my God. But I was also drunk and it was just a lot. But so yeah, I pulled up to that one. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Pull up if you and a friend have ever hooked up with the same person in college. Mm-hmm.
I'll pull up to that. Not at the same time or anything, but I went to UGA. There weren't a lot of black guys, so a lot it was like, oh, you dated so-and-so? Me too. We don't like him together.
Interestingly enough, I can't pull up to that one.
Oh, okay.
Now, after college, but this is fun. Now I want to play the game.
And that was just the messy category. Right. Not everything gets that messy. I've played with people of different ages. It's really
Isn't it funny that I picked those two? The messy.
No such thing as coincidences.
And I'm glad I didn't read it in advance. So I love that. I knew it. I love it. I'm absolutely playing this at homecoming this year. We always play Jenga. So my friend Daryl, hey Daryl, he writes these things on it. We play the same game every year. Mm-hmm. Every year. So I can't wait to bring Poe up to homecoming. Yes. That's gonna be a vibe. And we have an alcohol. We pulling up some other we'll have options.
I love it.
This is so cool. And it's just like I feel like we're in a renaissance of Black creativity and Black enterprise and like Black power and Black awareness. And you're like right in the nucleus of that. And this is so cool.
Thank you. I'm not going to give up on it because people are like, this is so cool. Can we make it for everybody? And I'm like, nah, it's okay. We need something.
Yeah, we need.
This is the white space I'm filling. Get somebody else to do that. But we need this for us. It's okay.
I love that. Please tell everybody how they can get their own decks of Up. Are there like expansion packs in it? Tell me like what's happening in 2023 for you.
So 2023, we will definitely have some more expansion packs. Okay. I initially tested out a school-specific expansion pack. So I had one called Take Time, which was for UGA Black alumni. Okay. That was the time all the Black kids at UGA got together to hang out. But now I'm like, maybe instead of niching down to specific schools, I might niche out to like different topics. So Up for bachelorette and bachelor parties. Okay. Or, people keep asking me for a family edition. I'm going to get you one, etc.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for expansion packs for sure, new editions. And you can find us in stores. So if you're in the DMV, we're in Busboys and Poets.
Which is right around the corner from where we are right now.
All
Crazy.
Busboys and Poets. Nubian Human in Baltimore. Yes. Urban Reads in Baltimore, where fortunately we've partnered with so many Black-owned bookstores, Mahogany Books in National Harbor. That's right. Black-owned wine shops like Happy Cork in New York. So check out our website for all of those stores. We're available online at poupcards.com. We just launched on Amazon. So by the time this airs, that Amazon page will be up and running. And follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all the social channels at Cards.
Liz, I'm so happy that this not chance, but me being up, watching, led to this conversation. You are insanely inspiring. And I'm saying this on camera, anything that I can do to help this do whatever, please don't hesitate to reach out. We got each other's number now. I'm not just saying that because you're a fellow, you're a soror, I promise. A little favoritism, but it's fine. No, but this is cool. Like I'm impressed is not the word. I'm like inspired and just excited.
Yes.
Very excited for you. Happy DMV is your home. And order Everything you need is in the show notes. If you're looking for a fun activity that you can do, you don't have to be, like we said, you don't have to be an HBCU grad. It's about the Black experience in all of these spaces. When I think about the relationships, the most exciting times in my life, even though I'm a mom now, I'm telling you, the best times of my life were those 4 years at the University of Maryland. And it's not a coincidence that I still live. I can walk to Maryland from my house because it was such a formative experience. Good, bad, a lot of different experiences that I know I am who I am because I went to that school, right? And so being able to recall the instances using this tangible game is dope. Because college for me, I'm thankful college was such a great, college was lit. College was lit. So make sure y'all get your decks, plural, buy them for yourself, buy them for friends, and connect with Liz and pull up. Everything that you need is in the show notes. And this was amazing.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited for you. You're welcome. And maybe we'll keep a deck here at camp.
Do it.
Yeah.
I got more, I'm down the street.
Okay, bet. Yeah, right? See, it pays to know people, y'all know. All right, y'all. We will see you back next week. If you haven't already, make sure you rate and review the show. Let me know what you think. Connect on all the socials. Everything you need is in the show notes. Make sure you also check out the ads. There's opportunities to sponsor the show. If you have a business that you want to promote, we can make that happen here. I think that's it. Have a great weekend. Peace. All right, now, y'all, don't forget to connect with Shades of Content on Instagram at Shades of Content and with me, Patrice Camo, at Patrice Camo. And also be sure to rate this show, leave a review, and subscribe because that's actually the only way that we're going to grow. I'll see you next week.